What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about not the Spyderco Delica, but we're going to be talking about the Zero Tolerance 0562 tie, ultimately. But the tale does start with the predecessor to the Delica. So let's go ahead and get started there. I'll try to whip through this. It should be relatively quick, and it'll help make some things make a little bit more sense. This is the Spyderco Delica. It wasn't the first Spyderco I owned. The first Spyderco I owned was, I think it was the predecessor to the Delica, called the Economy or the Standard. It was, but it's very much looked like this. It had full spider teeth. It was in 1987, so my senior year in high school. I lived near Golden, Colorado, in the Denver area, and so I went out there and I said, hey, you know what? I'm using knives a whole lot more in my workplace and so forth, various things that I do. Let me go ahead and get a decent knife. And so I went ahead and got that knife. And it was like $30, I want to say. It's going back to like 1987. But it was very much like the Delica here. And so shoot forward a few years. You start to, you dull the heck out of it. You destroy it. You don't treat it so well. And, I actually, it was not this knife. It was, I believe it was I held that one, the Spyderco, for many, many years. And then in fact, let me just bring them both out. So I later got this Spyderco PM3 in 2017. So like literally 13 years later, I was like, hey, you know what? I want a little bit better, a little bit slightly bigger knife. And so I did get that one. But in the meantime, I actually had gotten a Kershaw, not this Leek, a different Leek. And of course, it utilizes the Ken Onion feature of assisted opening. It has a little torsion bar, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And so the Kershaw Leek. So I essentially went on that Spyderco Delica or the Economy and the Leek for, I don't know, the better part of 16 years, just oscillating between those two knives. Well, I lost the Spyderco, so that one went out of the picture, and I had to get another one. So, of course, that is when I actually got this. I think it was 2017. It was the first year that they came out with this one. They had shrunk the PM2 and made a PM3, but otherwise it essentially retained all of that stuff. So this is the original from back then. I think it was 2017, so 9 years ago. Original G10 scales. I did have to replace the pocket clip because the one that they have is crappy, just for many different reasons. So skip forward a few years. Oh, let's go through it. So the $30 knife, the Blur was like, I don't know, sub $60, certainly inexpensive. Then I went to the PM3. The PM3 was like $130, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to $130. And I also got a Kershaw Blur, which was $65, 14C28N. Didn't have the super steel of CPMS 30V, but it was like $65. So I had doubled and then some, and I was just like, you know what? Oh, that's an awful lot. I'm never going to spend more than that for a knife. Then of course you jump forward to you buy a whole bunch of others, and you essentially end up landing on a 300. Well, actually, this was $280 when I bought it, 2020. But this was the Zero Tolerance 0562 tie, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Let me pause camera. Okay, so the 0562 tie was the very first full tie model that I bought in 2020. I had a Benchmade bug out, I want to say, but I did have to buy aftermarket titanium scales. And I was like, you know what? I want a full tie model, a little bit bigger one, certainly than the Benchmade bug out, one that can handle a little bit more. And this one, I never thought I would ever spend, close to $300, and it was $285 as I recall. And I just fell in love with it. The acoustics of this knife are insane. The action's really good. Bearings. It was everything that I liked. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to spend $425 for the original, if you will, make of this, which is the Hinderer Knives XM18. If you take a look at that slicer grind, this is essentially that one, and this is a no 12 version. Of course, I later spent $425 for this model, but that's a whole different story. So within the context of this, This to me is, I'm not going to go through a full review. 3.5-inch blade, weighs like 5.5 ounces, full titanium, made in the USA by Zero Tolerance. This one is 20 CV. The new ones now they're making are Magna Cut. I'm imagining, give me a year or two, they're going to be Magna Max if they're not already. I don't know. But they're still at a reasonable price, $312. 6 years after, I bought one for $285. So for me, it's a great value, great materials, good construction, great action. Legal in most places. Some states, some cities don't allow beyond 3-inch bladed knives. That's not a problem with the knife, though. That's not a knife flaw. That's a flaw in the laws of those locations. So what I decided over these last few years is I'm going to be leaving my kids the best of the best of the best knives. And this is one of the knives that I started collecting on their behalf. So USA Made Blade, Whitty over there does some amazing laser etching and anodization. And so this is, I think, the cork pattern. So in the order that I got them after this one. So actually, yeah, so let me put this at the bottom. This is the very first one I got. The second one I got was this cork pattern with cool blue. Yeah. In fact, I will go ahead and bring those up a little bit closer. Then the next one I got was actually the Factory Special Series. I'll go ahead and link the kind of initial review. I don't need to say review, but review of the Factory Special Series. This one is somewhat of a, not somewhat, but a coated, and it has carbon fiber, same steel though. And yeah, so that one's okay. I don't particularly like it as much. It costs more. It does have the carbon fiber. And then the next one was I think it's called Daylight Paisley. So it has basically purple to yellow through bronze anodization with a paisley pattern. So this one's pretty cool as well. That one's going to go to a kid. I'll go ahead and migrate this one out, the original. And then before I bought the last one for the kids, actually I was going to give it to one of my kids, and I did switch it out. I'm going to keep this particular one. This is the circuit board pattern, so it looks like a circuit board. I work in computers. I was like, you know what? If they don't want this, I'll have a second one of these, and this will kind of be my user abuser one. So none of the kids did want this one, so that one gets ejected out. And the last one then that I purchased was called Anomascus Fade, Sunset Anomascus Fade, I think. But it's really cool. It's got purple and to blue anodization, and then that cool swirl pattern. So these are all the ones that are going to my kids. Got 4 of them, and I think on the whole, it's almost undeniable that this is one of the, you could say top 10, 20. I'm not going to rank them in an individual order of the best knives ever. It's kind of silly to do such thing. It's just personal preference at that point. But I think it's undeniable that this knife, if you think about it, from everything that it offers, has to be considered one of the classic, handful of knives ever made. It's one that Zero Tolerance has not gone into a non-manufacturing or discontinued phase for it, like the 0308, which I thought was pretty awesome of a knife. I haven't yet done a full review on that one, but the 0562 I think is undeniable, and these are just some great examples. So it's the last I'll ever be showing these knives, probably, and they're going to be going to my kids as part of a Christmas package. So I hope this was interesting. Definitely a different look at some 0562s, and it gives you a little bit of insight into my knife history. Do take care. Bye.